Um, Sorry, I was sending out the tweet, guys. That I never even hit send on. So here we are, doing our typical, well, bi-weekly Friday night streams here for just mental health and continue on with the Fly High Wi-Fi podcast. As you see, we have Dear Bear here. We have Alyssa, also known as Mrs. Wi-Fi. We just gonna keep going. Don't call me a mess, Sav. Too ADD for you to be calling me out this early.
Get him, Sav.
Yeah, so I know that we've all had long weeks. Yeah, definitely squirrel. As the work for all of us gets into full swing, Alyssa full time with hers is probably ramping up a little bit as the summertime comes. Full nature for us here. Dear Bear starting a new job. Me going back to work. So guys, we're gonna continue doing these. Sometimes they might get a little shorter than they have been. Cause as like I know I'm exhausted from the long week, but we're gonna keep pushing forward. Jerry with his break the stigma shirt on as we continue to talk about that. Tonight we are gonna talk about the re-entering. How did we word it? I don't even remember.
Normal, just re-entering normal to you life, right? Like after something or a breakdown or something. So, or trauma. I think Alyssa's probably the best one too.
She's the one that has the clear mind of what we were talking about. Keep asking.
Because she takes notes and we don't. Let's just be very clear about this.
I'll jump in, but Jerry, you want to share your quote? We'll give you your your moment.
I can actually share my screen. So, mental health is not a destination, but a process. It's about how you drive, not where you're going.
Alright.
Punisher, you. Oh, sorry, Pros, you can't. Punisher can.
Don't ever tell me I can't write it.
So, to me, this quote it's not everybody's path is the same, right? Like Alyssa's path is going to be different than my path and Sharp's path and your path out there, whoever's listening. It's not about seeing a finish line. It's seeing where you're going. To me, it's like driving, like us driving to Colorado. We weren't really looking at the finish line. We were looking at the time we had together, but also we were looking at cornfields and empty fields and some trees every once in a while. But to me, it's you know, like you're driving a road and you're looking at beautiful things, which can be the things happening in your life. So if anybody else wants to give their opinion.
Ryan, you got anything?
Not right now. I'm still trying to wrap my head around what I'm gonna say here.
So I guess to kind of jump off that and into the topic that we were talking about tonight, I kind of took it a little more broad with what we're going to talk about, kind of going back into normal life once you start your mental health journey. And that could be you're just starting counseling, you're going to therapy, or you have a major life event. Oftentimes when you start this work, you start to ask like different questions, like what are my beliefs? What are the thoughts that I have? What's the self-talk? Or like what does my self-talk sound like? Why do I feel the way that I feel? Where is that really coming from? And when you do these, like we do this work, it starts kind of in a private setting. And this is why we kind of started to talk, like when you bring it into like the real world, because you can start to get comfortable with these questions and your self-belief, and you can start to have this self-talk and or all this stuff in a private setting. So how do you bring that out and like be that true self to you and kind of present it to the world? Um, when you do this, you aren't asking these things and everything, like, it's not going to be easy or peachy. So a lot of misconceptions too when you go into counseling or you start to do this self-work, you are going to notice things start to get a little harder at first because you really peeling back that, like, onion layer at a time. I think
Breaking
we'd
down that wall that people
Mm-hmm.
have.
So a lot of people end up leaving this self-work and they go back to what they know or what they seem as easy because it starts to get harder. You're really doing this because you're asking these questions or these thoughts or beliefs to challenge yourself to grow. So that's why you start in these private settings with just you or your counselor or you and a friend so that you can get comfortable with these feelings, and then you enter this into the real world. You take this into that real world setting, so then you're back in this uncomfortable setting. So you start in this private setting where you get comfortable, then you restart it all over again when you entered into the real world. So you're uncomfortable again because it's not just you and this other person or you and this group of people, it's you and all these other people that could essentially make it worse. So you're back into the setting that initially caused you to want to go get this help. So it's essentially a roller coaster. So when you're doing this, it's like patience. Do it a baby step at a time. Never give up on it. If you start a day when you're entering back into the real world and say you're working on like more positive self-talk or I don't know what it may be, and you fell for that day, and I don't even want to say fell, like fell is not a good word for it, but you take a step back for that day.
We'll say regress.
Yeah, regress, thank you. You regress for that day. Don't let it like take back all the progress you made. Start over the next day. You wake up the next morning and you're gonna take it back out into the real world. And you can do that for every aspect. Like maybe you meet somebody that doesn't have the same beliefs as you and you start to share and they kind of shoot them down. And it could be like mental health, it could be spiritual, it could be just about anything. Try again with somebody else that next day. We actually just did within my work environment, and it kind of broadened this like study on when you are in a different environment, you tend to change who you are. So I went to California and did a conference, and it was based on who you are at home versus who you are at work. So this can be like who you are at home versus who you are when you're hanging out with your friends. Who you are at home versus who you are hanging out with your family. Only 4% of the world are the same person as who they are like behind closed doors versus who they show to the world. And it is like part of this process of really doing that self-work and going out and like actually working on that self-work and presenting to actually be their true selves.
You said
And
4%?
Yep, 4%.
4%. We're talking a very little number of people being themselves from in the eyes of other people at work or with friends, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
so when you're
it's really hard. It's really hard to be the same person through and through and not just in my opinion, it's a lot of people trying to be a chameleon, right? Trying to fit in the situations to where they're more comfortable if they're seeing other people smiling or being happy with the way they're acting. So it's more about adapting to your environment and doing what things are to make the situation easier on you and the people around you.
Yep. And so I bring that up because I saw it in this room of people that we took this baseline test of who, like, what I gave us scenarios on, like, if you were at home, what would you be doing versus how would you handle that same scenario but at work. So obviously you tend to like, I'm in construction, but I'm also at home, so I'm a little like, you would think I would handle those situations differently. So you see this room of 50 people and all these different personalities come out.
Right.
So it's the same when you're handling your mental health journey. When you start to do that private work on yourself, it's that same. When you start to go out into that real world, you have to be patient. And you're going to have that, like Ryan was saying, that chameleon effect where you're going to change a little bit as you're going out into the real world because it's not that private setting. So you just have to be patient with bringing that true self out. And it's okay to be a chameleon, and that's what it was saying too in this disc assessment. Sometimes you do need to be that chameleon as long as you're not draining your energy level, and it presented that energy level as well. As long as you're not going below that energy level, it's okay to adjust who you are to fit your scenarios. So you also have to keep that in mind too when you're going back into the real world, that just because you're adjusting a little bit to the world around you, that's okay as well too.
Right. It's just the comforts of your own four walls. Just, you're warm and fuzzy, right? That's a term that we use for a lot of things in the construction. You're warm and fuzzy, like you're in the military. We say that all the time too. It's something you know and you trust, but when you go out, you don't always know what you can trust or what you're comfortable with. That's why the chameleon effect comes into play. So you feel like you're gonna adapt better or be less vulnerable when you're just like blending in with your surroundings. It's just different because there is people that you can see it from. They walk into a room. Let's say we put 10 people in one room and 10 people, and then you rotate them. That say them 10 people are gonna act different with those other 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
All but 4% of the time, which is crazy, right? And it's a hard thing to break because that's what we naturally do as human beings. We observe, we adapt, and we overcome. That's like just our fight or flight kind of moments, right? It's just nature of the beast, survival of the fittest kind of mindsets. And it doesn't obviously get higher than 96. Common thing.
So I guess this doesn't truly like give you like a set in stone how to go back into the real world, but it's kind of more of like a remember to be patient with yourself.
Right.
You have 96% of people that are still trying to figure it out too.
Right.
And even that 4% are still trying to figure it out because they still have some days where I bet you that they go out and they don't have that, they still have that chameleon effect come out, and they're still doing their own personal work. They've just kind of figured out how to like quickly move back into that I am who I am kind of mentality. And I don't, because these people have done that work for themselves as well. And your mental health journey is a forever journey. It's that roller coaster. So I'm sure they have a down day where they fall into that 96% and they kind of have to pull themselves back into that 4%. So the biggest thing is when you do go back into that real world, you're going to stumble, you're going to fall, you're just going to have to get back up and keep trying. And it's going to seem harder at times possibly. And that's okay. It's okay that it seems like it might be getting harder because that's part of the process.
Yeah. It's just, that number still blows my mind. 4% of people
but it's not really surprising to me.
Okay.
Honestly, it's not, because like when she said it, I thought about it. I'm a different person when I'm not at home. I have a lot of the same traits, but I'm not the same person. I observe more. I don't talk as much, and I just don't trust people. So I don't trust. Usually, I don't trust my surrounding out when I'm out.
Right. Okay.
When I'm at home, I'm relaxed. I don't have anything,
It was actually really unique to see too, because at 4%, when we had the 50 people do it, we had 2 people that were that same. They stayed the same within their test. So that's your 4%. We matched that statistic within the room.
That's crazy.
Wow. That's very interesting. But it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I guess it ain't both.
You keep cutting out.
I'm just thinking to myself over here talking. You know, things about like I still have mental health awareness month still in one corner of the thing here, but it'd be
We can do that every month.
yeah. Just
I'm okay with that.
Um, that's all I really had on that was just like be patient with yourself, take baby steps.
And that's where that quote, we came up with that quote, or we found that quote.
right. And you
Pretty
guys
much
always
that.
hear me say, "Be the ball, not the egg. Bounce back, don't crack," kind of thing. It's just something so stupid, like or not stupid, silly, right? It's corny and silly, but I bet you remember it, kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
every day's a new day. Every hour's a new hour. Okay? Sometimes, like she says, baby steps. Okay, so you're having a shitty half of your day. There's still another half of the day, or break it down into thirds, or break it down into times. Like I know I get break every day at 9:30, and then lunch at 12. Like, okay, so I'm gonna go to break, take a breather, meditation. People say we've been talking about a lot about meditation, right? Go sit down, relax, couple deep breaths, 5 minutes to relax, clear your mind, and come back in with a new attitude. And and seriously, that can change your whole day around. Honestly, I know I started with a new company this week. I am not doing so well with some of the people because the I'll be politely and say the talent level is not there. And it's a struggle because I'm not a foreman no more. I'm coming from neck down. I'm not there to be paid to think like them. So I just have to do what I'm asked to do and go throughout my day without trying to help other people out more than it is. And one of them is my foreman. And I'm just kind of just doing what he tells me to do and going my day. But the first couple of days, I like called my wife to vent on break and on lunch, like every second I could, because I needed somebody to talk to. So in retrospect, right? You said 96% of people are different. I was different. This is me being different to that person or the people around me because of the situation in which I find myself. So I'm not being myself, or I'm changing. I'm literally changing. And it
You
sucks.
being a chameleon.
Yeah, I was.
Yep.
I was being a chameleon because I didn't know the situation at work yet. I didn't know the people around me. I don't know how people are, and to take a deep breath here and there and reset.
Yep.
I was gonna say I can build off that. So like between last year and this year, so I was actually one of the two. That was the 4%.
Oh, nice.
But if I would have taken that assessment last year before everything, before I put in all my self-work with my counselor and stuff, I feel like I would have fell into that 96%. And I'm gonna like give an example what you're saying. Like last year I strived to get the promotion, get this, do that. Like I just kept like pushing and pushing and pushing, and that's not me. Like I go after like these big next steps, but I'm usually like a go with the flow, and when it lands in my lap because I'm doing it naturally, that's when I get it. I'm normally not like a see me type of person. I'm normally like I'm doing it naturally, so it'll come to me, like my promotions, my raises, and stuff like that. I'm not gonna go be like a brown noser, and I was doing that for a while with my company.
Yeah.
Last week I had lunch with one of my higher ups because he was doing a check-in. We're doing our yearly reviews, and he asked me what my goals were for myself this next year, or if I like wanted to get this next promotion. I was like, I'm taking things a day at a time, so I don't really have like too many goals set for myself. I wake up in the morning, I go do my job, I do a good job at my job that day, and I go home, and then I do it again the next day. Like I don't have like I want a mega job on my checklist, I want this. Like, would those be nice? But I'm not gonna strive and beg you for them. If it
Right.
falls in my lap, then cool. And that's like me as a person. So I've noticed the difference from like before, when I was like practically begging for all this stuff just to have like a see me type of mentality, because I am a woman in the male dominated industry. Like I wanted that because I
Right.
just wanted to be seen. Now I'm just kind of like, you give me it, I'll take it. I'm probably on the smallest job that we have right now, and it's going super well. And I'm just like, cool, like, I'm gonna get it done, I'll go to the next project. It could be the biggest project we have, or it could be another small project, or it could be a medium project, but I'm not gonna, like, beg for the project that I could get or I couldn't get, and then I'm gonna get upset about it.
I don't know. It's just, I feel that, and noticing like me. I noticed myself now that you brought light to it that we are different people in different eyes, right? And I noticed it right away and thought of a situation in which I did find myself acting like that. And those are the situations that you're gonna have to start to self-identify more and more till you start to find yourself being yourself through in and throughout. And it's hard, obviously, because if it was so easy, 96-4, that doesn't sound like a very even or very fair side of each side. So it obviously is a lot to work on, along with taking in all your mental state and everything like that. But I bet you mentally you feel better knowing that you don't have to change for other people, or you don't have to change in every situation in which you find yourself being placed in. And it probably relaxes the mind so much. It's less to keep track of. And it's like, to me, it's not like we're lying, but we're lying, right? So it's like when you're a kid and you develop the whole, I know I did as a kid. I was a little liar until I learned that, like, chasing the lie around that you just told to lie about the lie, it was harder than actually fucking lying. Just tell the truth. Like, chasing lies around is not fun. So now that I got kids and I'm like, dude, just tell the truth, please.
You're stressing yourself out more than you need to.
Exactly. So, like, that's what the situation in which this falls under is. Just like, it's not technically lying, but you're not being true to yourself. So
It felt like that when I, like, finally went back to work after everything with Tyler, and I was completely open. I came back and I, like, laid it on the table and was like, I'm coming back with PTSD to a construction job site. It's loud, it's all this other stuff, and, like, I'm gonna come back slow. And that normally people come back with the mentality that you have to hide all this, and I didn't. I came back with, like, I guess my heart on my sleeves. I was jumpy. I didn't try to hide any of it. I was just, like, very much like, I just came back and was like, listen, we had a meeting with my entire team and was like, let her figure it out. So I wandered around the job site for about 2 or 3 weeks, and it was just me getting used to noises and getting used to, like, this, that, and the other, and they were told to just let me be.
did it work?
Probably not that. It did. I'm still working for the company.
Yeah, gained your comfort zone back, right? And let you, instead of everybody, like, literally, as much as, okay, it's nice to know that people care, but I'd rather you come to me with a genuine care than just feel like you need to come to me and say, hey, are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you? Like, there's people that probably in every one of our lives that have come to us at one point and they're like, hey, if you need anything, let me know. And we walk away and we're like, yeah, we know that they're never gonna do anything for us, right? Mm-hmm. But it's easier to not have that in your head. So it's been easier for me to always feel more genuine towards people that I know I would actually stand up for and be there for. And
I saw that when, like, me, and I'll say too, like, along with this, advocate for yourself. I think with me coming back and advocating for myself so quickly, because it was day one, I was back and I was like, I'm coming back. Let me get my footing. Let me figure things out in my head. And then I'll hit the ground running. But I'm not hitting the ground running until I know I can hit the ground running.
Right.
And that opened up the doors for so many people, like you're saying, that were truly, they didn't extend that olive branch, but if they saw me, like, wandering around, they're like, hey, good?
Yeah.
And if I, like, let the little nod, and they were like, cool, but it wasn't like a overly extended olive branch. They were there. They wanted me to know like they're there if I needed them. But other than that, it was kind of like they went about their way. They let me do what I needed to do. But I knew they were there if I actually needed it.
Yeah. I get that 100%. And it's just like, there's so many posts, like I find myself going to comment on Twitter and social media of people that I haven't talked to in hell, maybe the whole time on Facebook that I see, but in me, I want to comment, but sometimes I don't because I don't know how to approach the situation or write them. I'll DM them or something, let them know, hey, like, hey, this isn't me trying to get anything crazy or anything, just let you know that if you need anybody and there's nobody to turn to, don't hesitate. And here's the information, my DMs, my phone number, whatever it is you may need. But I'm not gonna be over I guess like overstepping, we'll put it, as trying to get deep in there to find out exactly what's going on or what is like really digging into him so I can try to fix it for him, because at the end of the day they don't need me to fix it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
social media can be a sand trap, you know. Trying to dig into people's problems, and because to me sometimes, like Facebook especially, I deleted Facebook a long time ago, recently got it back, but I have very few people on there. And I seen a lot of stuff, but it never really, like, before this happened, I would have just said they're begging for attention, which is what a lot of people say now. They just want attention. So we're still human beings and people are struggling, but it's hard to, for me, decipher, does that person really want help, or do they really want this to be better? And I can't just ask them that. So for me, when I see stuff like that on Twitter or Facebook, I'll leave a comment. I won't blow up their DMs. I won't do anything other than, hey, I'm here if you need me. I will listen to you. I can offer what help I have.
right.
You know. But I don't. To me, social media is just, it's a sand trap, a rabbit hole that I try not to go down.
I don't have any more on that one. Kind of, I don't want to be beating a dead horse kind of thing, even though in this topic it's never a dead horse. But of course, we can continue on with the same topic over and over again all day.
I was gonna say, yeah, I can move on to the next unless there's anything in the chat.
We just got a good guest here. Joe Dubsky, a fellow veteran here, went through a really bad hardship. I won't discuss too much without his permission. And I know that when he went through the hardship, the community really stepped up and showed support to him. And I reached out to him personally and was like, look, if you ever need anything, I'm here. We're both part of the regiment group, which is the #1 military gaming community in the world. And it's good to see him in here. It means we're reaching out, we're getting new faces in here. And he said this is a good stream, so that makes me happy to see more and more people coming through. We're reaching out. You said you got messages on Facebook from overseas, across the pond from us, so that's the more people we can reach and the bigger this gets, the more awareness we can raise as a group. And that's really what this is about, is awareness, so that people know that there is people out there for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, please share topics you guys want to hear. I'm trauma based in school, so you'll keep hearing about trauma if people don't share stuff that they want to hear. Ryan, you look like you're reading.
I am. Dang, don't call me out like that. Like the mouse is running way faster than he's supposed to right now. Dang, is there smoke back there, son? Jesus, golly. Yeah, I was reading. I was writing back to, to Joe. If I could type too, that would help.
You want me to keep going so we're not staring at you and making
Yeah,
you nervous?
yeah. I'm not nervous. I don't buckle under pressure. Y'all can. Yeah, we can move on now.
Alright. So we'll move on to the next topic, which we talked about a little bit again too in the past about dissociation and grounding. So I know I have like lamely tried to just like describe what dissociation is. So I have a definition written down. I can't read my own handwriting, so you make fun of me for reading now.
Yeah, let's see your mouse spin out a few times over here.
Dissociation is defined as a mental ability that enables us to separate from our conscience. So, how I talked about before about separating kind of from your body, so you're able to separate.
Okay.
It can take over as a personality, and it's also known as cutting off from oneself. So, with that, they talk about the floating versus grounding. Dissociation can be used as like a coping mechanism to escape from like different mental stuff or different life aspects. So it's like a good coping mechanism sometimes. But if you dissociate too much, then it does become like a personality or a mental illness. So that's why they use grounding techniques for that aspect. But there's grounding techniques just to kind of get you out of like stress and anxiety. So grounding techniques can be used for just many different things. We've talked about yoga, meditation in past podcasts. Those are great grounding techniques. So they kind of focus on stretching of the body and movement and breathing to kind of block out everything else, and you can just focus strictly on you and the body. Grounding techniques are defined as a way of creating a connection to the here and now. They're designed to return our bodies back to our baselines. So they say a good way of doing this too is to be like barefoot. I don't know if anybody, like Ryan or Jerry, if you've ever heard about going outside and walking barefoot, because the magnetic pull in the earth with your body is a great way to like really bring your body back to.
Never heard that.
Never heard of that.
But it makes sense to me because of how they do MRIs, right? MRIs, they send little magnetic photons into your bloodstream, and then they go through and it reads how the blood flows and everything. So that makes sense to me that you can recenter yourself with the magnetic.
If you ever see people like hiking barefoot and stuff, it's they're trying to recenter their like body, soul, spirit, because they're probably spiritually like centered people. They're hiking barefoot to bring their body back centered to the earth.
Okay.
So they're trying to ground themselves because they're probably super stressed or they're super anxious about something, so they're trying to bring their soul back to their body and ground themselves. It's more of like again a spiritual concept, but so one of the techniques is called a 4-7-8 breathing concept, and it can be paired with another concept which I'll talk about after this, but it's where you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 7 seconds, and breathe out for 8. And you repeat this until your body is like at a calm state. You can do it with your eyes open or eyes closed. You can be sitting, standing, laying, it's whatever, but you're really just focused in on your breathing. So if you're somebody who likes to visualize something, you can create your own safe space. They like to say it's a place you've never been, so you just make up any space. I don't know. I like to make up a space where I'm just kind of looking out a window and it's raining because I like the rain.
Okay.
And so close my eyes. You say feet or?
Yeah. Jerry. Sorry, I couldn't pass the opportunity. I couldn't pass the opportunity up.
Chad, we need a third.
Sorry to interrupt, but it couldn't be missed.
Yeah, I could.
So close your eyes. You can visualize your safe space. They say it's a place that you've never been to or you can't go to, so that safe space can't be taken from you in any way. So it's always your safe space. Do your breathing exercise, and you can stay in that safe space for as long as you need doing those breathing exercises, and then you can come back out and go about your day.
Sure.
And you can do it virtually anywhere.
Anytime, whatever you need to do, right? Just pick reset.
Most of these you can do just about anywhere. I guess depending on your comfortability doing them.
Right.
There's the tense and release. To do this, it's pretty much you're channeling the emotion or the energy, and then you release it. So it's pretty much you're making, the most common one is you make a fist. So whatever energy you're focused on, it's usually like a bad energy or something that's upsetting you, you focus the energy in the center of your hand, make a fist, squeeze it for as long as you want. You can close your eyes, open your eyes, and then you release it.
Okay.
You do that as many times as you need to, and you could pair that with your breathing exercise as well, and it's a form of grounding or meditation. We talked about the stretching before. I thought the next one was an interesting one. You can feel changing temperature. So get ice, hot water, and like room temperature water.
Okay.
And touch each one. Your attention to the physical reality rather than any type of fearful prediction. So you kind of force yourself to forget about what your brain's telling you, and you are physically brought into the reality of hot, cold, room temperature. Or you can mix it up anyway, and your brain forgets about the stresses, and it's brought into reality.
Okay. That's a good one too. I think actually that one, it tricks your mind basically into resetting and forgetting the things that put you in the now moment, that now moment. So it takes the focus off and hopefully resets you so you don't fall back down that negative rabbit hole. Oh, you might be too high on positive things. People don't realize that being too positive sometimes can distract you from reality too.
Manic states.
Yep.
So I thought that one was cool when I was reading it, that
I do think that.
but like Ryan was saying, kind of distracting your mind, or literally distracting it from what you're thinking. You're like, oh, hot, cold, room temperature, and you just keep doing it in your brain, because as humans we are easily distracted.
Some more than others.
Ryan thinks you're talking about him.
I'm just reading the 19 text messages Gary sent to the group.
Oh, you're just not reading them.
Yeah. See?
The last one I have written down is journaling, and you could do this in any way, shape, or form. You can journal about your day, you can journal about like a fantasy, you can just like write your own little, today I was grateful for, and then maybe the next day 5 things that I saw today, just to kind of get your mind really in that moment so that you're not wandering, you are more here, focused on what you're writing and not what you're worried about. So when you're journaling, it has to be more positive, like affirmations and stuff, versus the stresses. So if you write about your day, don't write about, I stubbed my toe. Write about,
Why
like,
do you always gotta pick the toe? Why do I
Right.
always gotta
really
put this?
didn't. I didn't mean that
I-
one.
In your finger at basketball practice.
It's something, but like I always tell people, I hope you stub your pinky toe, though. We all know that
It's
stuff.
because that one's so common. Like your toe, you just hit your toe off everything.
Try not being able to feel your feet.
No. But it's like it was a really pretty sunset or sunrise today or sunset or I got this pen in my favorite color. Somebody gave me a nice compliment. It's like very positive things to keep your mind from that negative thoughts, to keep you right in that moment.
So to touch on that, remember I've said this probably multiple times, like every day when you wake up, if you start your day with 3 positive thoughts or 3 positive things of any sort, like, hey, even I woke up today, all right, oh, it's already sunny outside, awesome, like those positive things will set your tone for that day. If you wake up and you're in a shitty mood and you're like, oh man, I really don't want to, or oh, I gotta go do this today, but it's what the hell was that, a hiccup?
Yeah, like
a burp
deep
hiccup? Yeah.
I get like hiccups that are like in the stomach.
But like you say, journaling, you pick those positive things out for the day instead of focusing on the negatives and letting them consume your mind, because it's like rabbits, they multiply in your head, right?
Where are we going with this?
Yeah. So like you think of one negative thing, then you think of another negative, and they just keep coming in, and it just starts downpouring faster than you can think of, right?
Yep.
Same thing can happen with positive thoughts or positivity too, and it's about your focus and in finding your way out of the negative state.
So with those, be patient. I think where it's going to be a big thing with your whole mental health journey is just be patient. I'm naturally a dissociative person. I like to float. It's just something natural with me. I've always been like a very air person, even as a kid. So all these grounding techniques for me is very hard for me to ground. So what my counselor describes it as is like a balloon that's tethered to like a rock or something, and I like bounce back and forth. So grounding techniques are hard for me. So I was getting very impatient, very like hard on myself, because I'm like, why can't I ground? I want to ground. Even when I do yoga and stuff like that, I'm very airy even in yoga. And she was like, you're not doing it because you're being impatient and you're judging yourself. I still, even when I'm letting go of it, I'll catch myself like floating during I'm not stressed or anything during when I do yoga, but I'm still not very there. I'm kind of like floating around the room essentially.
I'm gonna be honest, being ADD doesn't help with any of that. Cause it's hard to ground an ADD person, all right? My ass got 42 thoughts in every field going on in life.
I mean, I can shut off every thought, but I'm still just floating around.
Yeah,
up there.
right. Like you can. It's very, very fast that like I can sit there and I'm like, all right, let's focus on this. What the hell just happened? Like just off the left field, and then you sit there and you try to close your eyes and visualize and try to go in that. That's why for me, the meditation, I started doing a little bit of the meditating and stretching and doing things in the morning to try to get me back into getting in the routine of getting up every day and not be so negative that I gotta go back to work. I just find myself like instantly, my mind's in 14 different places, like trying to figure out, but then I gotta refocus myself in patience and
Yeah, see, I feel like I don't have like those 14 thoughts. I'm just not there.
Yeah.
I'm completely empty, but I just don't, like, I'm not on the ground. I'm somewhere else.
Oh yeah, no, I'm thinking about the traffic on the way in, if I gotta pack my lunch or
There's
what I
not
gotta
a
do
single...
at work, and
Yep.
I
like,
can shut the thoughts off.
hell, I'm already
just
thinking
not...
what's for dinner. What the fuck you mean?
I I feel like that would be less like annoying for me because I can shut off all the thoughts. I'm just like not here.
Oh, for real? That's crazy. No,
It's empty, but I'm like completely empty and I'm bebopping around somewhere else.
Bebopping around.
Pete Bother. It just reminds me, what is that? Inside Out? Beep, boop, beep,
Yeah,
boop, beep.
that's
It's a good movie. If you guys haven't watched that one, that's a really good one. It's about your react. What are they? Your feelings and your emotions
Yes.
as a human being, right?
Mm-hmm. It is great, but so I get very frustrated with the grounding because like I can be completely shut off, but I'm still
Grounded.
not there.
That's crazy.
So be patient. Set aside all judgment. So there was my second one because I was judging myself. I'm like, why can't I do this? Everyone makes it look so easy, but here I am just floating around. And that's when she brought out the like the little tether balloon thing where I just bounce around. And be willing to modify all these techniques. Like I said at the beginning, like you can do the breathing with the visual, or you can do the breathing with the tension. Like all of these can be paired together in some different way. And there's so many different techniques. There's probably hundreds of different grounding techniques. If you type in grounding techniques on Google, you're gonna be like probably overwhelmed with the amount of grounding techniques you'll find.
You know what grounding technique I used to use when the world was
What?
spinning? If I was drunk, I would just put my foot on the ground off the boat. Gotta keep the world from spinning, all right?
Okay.
It's a good one.
Oh,
Oh, your face
man.
plant. Gravity.
Yeah.
But that's all I got.
Jerry?
Nah, I don't have anything for that. Mm-mm.
Have you going over some of the grounding techniques, have you ever found yourself doing these things naturally? I'll ask you. Chat, you guys can answer this too. Like, she touched on a few of them. What works for you guys, or what do you find yourself doing?
So, honestly, what I found myself doing is reading. And then it's nothing major, it's nothing big. Reading whatever is around me.
Okay.
Just reading even a sentence seems to work.
Okay. That's your grounding
If
mechanism.
if I'm walking through Walmart and I start to get, mind racing, I just read something. And I didn't realize that I was even really doing it until very recently, actually.
Okay. We got that one. For me, there's probably a different technique, a few different ones that I do use. But the most common one is just to walk away and breathe. It's the biggest thing for me, because my first reaction to a lot of things is I am very, very, very person. When I shouldn't be. But I let things get to me a lot faster than they should. And it's been my wife been number one in helping me realize it and how to approach it in a different sense, because having kids, they're just learning their emotions, and I would be so instantly mad or angry and they wouldn't understand why I was. But hell, I don't even understand why. Right? So just taking a step back and processing the situation and wondering what is bothering me and why has been one of my biggest things. So the deep breathing and the just removing yourself from that situation to make it make them worse. They have to. Alyssa's, what's your common one again? Mouse spinning. No.
I don't really have a comment.
Just apparently being out there. Like,
yeah, I just bebop around.
Bebop around. So yeah.
I think naturally I'm more of like the barefoot type of person. If I
Okay.
really need, I like just walk around barefoot.
Okay. Okay, so Joe in chat said reading a book at night is his only savior. So Jerry, there you go. See, and and I bet you a lot of these are a lot more common than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they're, you said you can Google them. There's a list of them for a reason because people do them, right? It's just like we have them safety meetings at work because somebody did it.
Mhm.
So it's good to find these things, and the more we get people to share and more people realize these things, again, awareness is what we're striving for each week, and with new topics. And again, like Alyssa stated earlier, guys, if there's anything you guys would like to us to go over or find information on and or elaborate on in our Friday podcast, then just make sure that you guys either bring it up in chat when you have us here live or DM one of us personally. Again, we have our socials. They're at the bottom of the screen for the Discord, the Facebook. Majority of you guys have my phone number, my Discord, Jerry's Twitter, my Twitter, the team's Twitter. Like, there's so many different ways you guys can reach us. So we're very interested in hearing what you guys would like to hear about, or a topic that maybe has been very personal for you lately, and you kind of want to bring the awareness to other people as well. So
If you want to share a story with one of us or all of us anonymously, well, you can do that. If you want to be on the podcast to share a story, and something recently that we've touched on, let one of us know. We're not against having people on.
you don't have to have a camera.
No.
You just join the Discord and talk to us.
Yep. Before we go, the 12th is Monday. We are playing Rocket League. Open invitation to anybody that wants to play.
Nothing serious. Nobody's got to be a sweat. No, nothing like
Nope.
Jerry. We're here to have fun and enjoy each other's company. Watch Alyssa demo the shit out of Jerry, Ben, whoever she's going after. It's kind of funny, honestly.
Yeah. But
it's there to.
It's a way to bring our little community together. Just if you're going through something and you just want to hang out in the Discord while we play, you don't even have to talk. You can just hang out, or you can chat with us. You don't have to play. But it's an open invitation. Sharp will be streaming it, I'm sure. I'll be streaming it. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure we throw that out there. Every month on the 12th, we will do. If we have enough people, we'll do custom games. We'll do viewer tournaments. We'll do whatever.
Your shirt, Alyssa, caught my attention early, and I didn't touch on it. Mental health is physical too, right? So mental health can physically cripple you. It can, because the strongest part of your body is your brain, and if you don't take care of your brain, the rest will suffer. Okay, guys, that's why we do these. Mental health is in a very, very, very serious problem across the world. It's not just here in the United States, it's everywhere in the world, and it's starting to finally gain traction as people notice it more and more. And it's sad that it's still not as noticed as it should be, but we're gonna continue to do these we bi-weekly right now, continue with them bi-weekly, eventually hopefully start to move them into weekly as we gain some more knowledge and some downtime, maybe, because between setting everything up and everybody working and Alyssa going to school full time, and can we just take a second and just give her a round of applause here because of going to school, like doing the research for these, working full time,
so much.
Yep.
We're grateful for you, Alyssa.
Very, very grateful.
Oh, thank you.
She does all this research. We have meetings on Sundays. She takes all the notes, does all the research. She comes up with most of the topics. She's the backbone of this. So
also, we open this up to everybody every time we talk about it. if you're interested in joining Fly High Wi-Fi as part of the content team, or you might have something else that you might offer us, we're always looking, and we're always accepting offers of people wanting to join, and we can sit down and go over everything with you and what you would like from us or expect from us, as we could do the same for you. And
Yeah.
the door's
or if
always
you just
open.
want to be a part of a family, like a gaming family. So that's what
Yep.
we are. I think everybody on the team, we have all of everybody's numbers. We can text them, which we do. Most of us talk, not daily, you know, a couple times a week at least.
Yep.
So it's not just a stream team. It's not just a content team. It's family.
The family, that's for sure.
Making me tear up, guys.
Uh-oh. Jerry, you got anything?
No, I think I'm good.
Be back here in 2 weeks, Alyssa? There's
Yep.
no days
So
or
we'll be
birthdays or
back here
nothing?
Monday.
Well,
Yeah, we'll be back.
we'll be
Monday.
back okay, but for the podcast.
For the podcast. Yep.
So that is what, the 23rd, Friday the 23rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a note on our folder. I need to start doing that because
We need to start documenting these for time too, for like us to be
Yeah.
recognized for the nonprofit.
yeah,
Which, guys, we do have a nonprofit we're working towards building. So if you guys would, we're not saying it's mandatory, but any donation is very, 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 very appreciated, as that money goes towards helping other people in need.
Yep.
So
and we haven't been able to do a lot, but
we do have
what
it.
we can.
Anything else, Alyssa?
Nope. Is the chat all good?
Chat, any questions, any concerns?
Chat, hello?
I think they mainly just listen. They just chill.
No, it's just fine.
Yeah, Joe, appreciate you, brother, coming through, hanging out.
Thank you, Joe.
I know Sav's lurking in the background himself. Another big person that's huge on mental health. But that's all I got.
All right. You can do
Okay.
your spiel.
Oh yeah.
Your
Calls me
outro.
out. My mouse is already tripping. He's nervous now. No, guys, on behalf of Fly High Wi-Fi, we just want to say thank you for joining us tonight, and we will see you guys Friday, June 23rd. And to each and everybody, have a great night. We love you. We're out.
Bye.
Bye.